So welcome again to the absolute best authentication section you're gonna find in the whole internet, and I mean that especially that we are using NextAuth. Like, a lot of people use it, but they don't use it to its full potential, actually make it work in a professional, very advanced way to manage every single thing you need about authentication. And if you don't know NextAuth, simply it's just an authentication tool or package for Next.js that's gonna offer us, it's gonna handle all of our sessions, users, add into the database, login with Google, Facebook, any other type of providers. Auth0, we're going to be able to log in with credentials, register, send in emails, verifying your accounts. You can also receipt passwords, create the HTML emails like forms and stuff. We're going to do that. That has nothing to do with NextAuth, but it's like part of the authentication and sending emails. So it's going to be something very, very, very exciting. It's going to be a long section to work with. So let me just explain how it's gonna look. Like, this is like a basic NextAuth application where you have like ability to log in, like for example Facebook, GitHub, Google, Twitter, and then Auth0. So this is actually like gonna be our startup. This is what we're gonna try as a startup, and then we will work with adding like credentials, and make this work first, and then add credentials. Then we're gonna have our register page, then sending emails. So it's gonna be a lot of work, and I may even forget something to say, but we're gonna take care of everything, and you're gonna have the perfect authentication system for Next.js. Like, you can search the whole internet, you're not gonna find any section better than this. Like, I've done the perfect authentication system in my previous course for the MERN stack, and now for Next.js is gonna be the best, because I always provide you the best ones. Okay, so it's open source, full stack on your data. It's like easy, flexible, secure, all the other stuff. So you probably know what NextAuth is. If you don't, you're gonna learn about it now easily. So we're gonna need to add it like in a basic setup. So as a start, the easiest way possible. As you can see, this is on the server side. You have to go to pages, and then the folder called API, which we know it, and then we're going to create a new folder called auth, and then inside this you're going to create a file that is like, you have brackets and then 3 dots and then NextAuth and then .js. So we can actually do that first. So we can go back. So simply let me open the Explorer. So you're going to go to pages, which you already have, then API, and inside this API create a new folder called auth, and then a new file inside it. That's going to be nextauth.js, like that. Okay, so this is what you really need to do, and then go back and copy everything inside this by clicking on this button right here, and then we're going to paste this here. Let's close the Explorer right here, and let me remove the email provider from here right now, because this is going to need some other data that we don't have yet right now. So let me cut it from here. We only have, so as you see, let me remove this from here. So we import NextAuth from NextAuth, which is something we need to install. That's the name of the package and the main important thing. So let me open the console or the terminal, new tab, and then just gonna be yarn add, and then not yarn add, and then NextAuth, and then let me just go back and see what's the problem. Okay, sorry, yarn add NextAuth, like that. Sorry for this stupid mistake. So yarn add NextAuth, let it install, and as you see, we get the Apple provider, Facebook provider, Google provider. This is like how mainly it works. You import the providers, and then inside this NextAuth objects, you're just gonna go or function, you're gonna go inside. It takes an object, and it takes, like for example, an array of providers. So for the providers, this is like for social login, like Google, Facebook, etc. And then you add the provider, and every single provider that we will add, we need a client ID and a client secret. That means we need to go to the providers themselves and get like the ID for us, and then we're gonna get that secret also, and we're gonna add it in the env file. So this is exactly how it be. Let me see if it's installed. Okay, so it's done. You can actually see this by just going back to your application. So right here, and then go /API, and then we're gonna go auth, and then sign in, and then we're gonna click enter, and this is the page how it's gonna look. Okay, this is all the providers that we added right here. So it's not gonna work because we don't have any credentials, so it's not gonna be working with us. Okay, so that's the first thing as you see it. This is not a custom page. This is what they give you automatically when you go to API auth and then sign in. So what you can do also, you can go back right here. If you see, we need to add the session provider into the underscore app.js. So that means I gotta take this one, as you see it, the session provider. I need to go back to my application, then pages underscore app. I need to import that on top. for example here, and then I need to go back and actually get the session provider and add it to the whole application. So we're gonna need to wrap, as we've done before, wrap this component with that. So I can wrap it right here. So this session provider, and then let me make sure that everything is inside it like that and save. So that's very important, and we need to do that so we can actually see the session if it exists or not. That means we can see if we are signed in or not just by going and taking this example in the plugins page. So let me take the import right here and then go back, for example, into our, where is it, the index.js. So after the header and footer between them, so let me import that first and then go back, and then we can take this right here. So but we actually don't need to do it this way, because let me just show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the const data session so we can get the session. We're gonna have it inside right here, the home function, and then simply we're gonna see if we have a session or not. So let me take this test. This actually shouldn't be this way, but let me just show you. So simply you can go like inside right here and have a test. So if we have a session, that means if we have session, we're gonna show like, for example, you are logged in, okay? And then, sorry, I forgot the question mark. So this is when we have a session, that means we are logged in. Else we're just gonna say you are not logged in, okay? But we're actually gonna show some information. This is as a test, so I can go back right now and then go back to the home page, and then let me zoom in. Okay, so session is not defined. Okay, we already got the session, so what's the problem with that? Okay, this is kind of weird. Let me just refresh that. Also, this is in the underscore app. This is not in. Okay, so sorry, my problem. We forgot something in the underscore app. We forgot something, which was to get this session right here from the page props. So we need to go absolutely to the underscore app again. Sorry, and then where is it? So this is in the page props. We need to actually destruct that, as you see right now. If you go back, you see that the page props are destructed, so we can actually get the page props that we get and also get the session. So we need to change it like that. Okay, so now in the page props we get also the session in the server side. And then if you go back and actually now refresh this, you can see you are not logged in right here. Okay, I didn't want to use that because if we use the return right here, that's gonna return and not gonna show the rest of the footer or header. Like, you can try that by just simply going, yeah, just like that. You can do that, it's not a problem. This first video is just like to understand how it actually works, but don't worry, we're gonna get in more details later. So you can take all of this like that and change it, and as you see, if you go back right here, you're gonna see not signed in, and it's gonna give you a button to sign in. If you click, it's gonna take you back to the sign in page like that. So let me remove that because this is very confusing. Let me remove if we have the session. Let me have the session right here. Okay, so as you see, this is like the most basic way to set up without even it's working. So let me remove this from here. So now actually what we need to do is actually like starting with some providers, to actually see if we are logged in. So just by simply adding the client's ID and client secret, we're just simply done. We can actually start logging and see something, okay? But we also need few other data right here that we need to do. So focus with me.